Hello guys! As I mentioned sa aking last video, I'm going to tell you my technique or my tips or tricks on how I digest my cases, so stay tuned. Case digest played a lot of role in the College of Law. At first, nahihirapan talaga akong mag-digest ng cases. I had no experience. I only experienced digesting one when I was in college. And then, pinadigest ulit ako ng additional 10 because I was a little bit mischievous. So, parang it was my redemption to digest a case. But nonetheless, I still did not understand how to make it. So, when I entered law school, I really had no idea. First week or second week ata nung binigyan kami ng set of cases to digest. Constitutional law, criminal law, persons and family relations, statutory constructions. As in, super dami. At hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko. So, nag-google ako, naganap ako ng mga case digest to pattern my cases. Pero, I ended up copying the entire case digest.
Tango down.
Well, the first thing that you need to have is, of course, the case title, the GR number, the SCRA number or Philippine Reports number, and the date when it was promulgated. More often than not, enough na yung GR number for you to look it up online. As long as the GR number is correct and the case is correct, then you should have no problems. Ang significance lang dyan ng date, case title, is kapag parang mali yung GR number na binigay sa'yo. So you need to cross-reference that. There are also some GR numbers na may dalawang date, like Tanyada versus Tubera. Once nahanap mo na yung full text, of course, you would have to read it.
Shut the hell up!
Yes, there is no shortcut. Kailangan mong basahin yun. Why? Well, to give you an idea of what you're reading. While you're reading, consider yung subject nyo. Ano yung subject nyo na nagpapadigest na? Maybe civil law, remedial law, constitutional law, etc. etc. Because there are some cases na ang dami-daming issues, ang dami-daming topics. It may touch on remedial law, it may touch on civil law, but pretty much your professor would only be interested in the ruling of the court related to your subject. So, keeping in mind, alam mo na yung subject mo, go ahead and read the case. This time, you would be focusing on the facts, issues, and the ruling related to your subject. I'm not saying that you disregard the other subjects, but it's not really something that you need to take into consideration. While reading your case, internalize mo. Imagine mo either ikaw yung petitioner or ikaw yung respondent, so that you would have a good grasp of the facts or the issue of the case. A big no-no, never ever digest a digested case. It's a no-no. Isipin mo na lang, kumain ka ng case, dinigest ng tiyan mo, ilabas mo. It would be gross for the other person on the receiving end to digest it again. You know what I mean? It's gross. Okay, so nabasa mo na. What I usually do is, instead of saying the name of the parties, I use petitioners or respondents, or appellant-appellee. Yun yung ginagamit ko. It would be easier for you to relate kung sino nga ba yung nagpa-file ng petition na yun, because most of the cases na umaabot ng Supreme Court is brought by the petitioners. So it depends kung sino ba yung natalo nun. So yung natalo sa Court of Appeals, pretty much he would become the petitioner. But there are some cases, like in criminal cases, na people of the Philippines pa rin yung petitioner. Now, so after reading your case, i-highlight mo na yung ruling related to your subject. Okay? Paraphrase that. I-paraphrase mo yun. Let's say your subject deals with statutory construction. For example, the case of Paras versus Comelec. That was a 1997 case. In that case, the petitioner has been literally construing the law, which resulted into absurdity. So, the Supreme Court held that in construing the provisions of the law, the overly literal reading of the law which results to absurdity should not be countenanced. Parang gano'n yung ruling. That's the only thing that you would be writing in your ruling or yung held. Then, baliktadin mo. Baliktad yung process ko eh. I start with the ruling, then I go to the issue, and then I go to the facts. So, once you have established that, punta ka sa issue. Ano ba yung issue doon? Whether or not the literal construction of the petitioner should be countenanced. We have mentioned earlier, it's a no. Because overly literal interpretation of the law which results to its absurdity should not be countenanced. Yun lang yung ruling mo. So it's pretty much one sentence. Punta tayo sa facts. So that's it. That's pretty much, you already have a case digest. You have those in mind, get your computer, type mo na. What I usually do, especially sa amin, is to written case digest. I type it first in my computer and then save it in a notepad. Later on, pag tapos ko na lahat, then I would start writing. Or I would also do it per batch. Say for example, I was able to digest 5 cases already, isusulat ko na siya. Kasi I've experienced writing for 20 hours straight.
What?
And nagkakakalyo talaga yung kamay. So it's a good practice para ipahinga mo yung kamay mo kapag nagda-digest ka. Kapag nagsusulat ka naman, maipahinga mo yung utak mo. It was effective for me. I don't know kung effective sa inyo. I had pretty much digested maybe more or less 1,000. Baka understatement pa yung 1,000 digested. Because before I was arrested back in 2018, I was in the process of digesting Del Castillo cases. I was able to digest 300 plus na cases ni Justice Del Castillo. Unfortunately, my computer was seized by the National Bureau of Investigation and it was turned over to the court. So there was no way for me to upload those. Now, kahit wala na ako sa school, I still digest cases as part of my job. I'm a paralegal officer, so legal research tayo, digest natin kung ano yung case. Does it fall to the case you're working on? Would it help the case you're working on? Those are the reasons kung bakit nagda-digest pa din ako. It would be a good practice for you to read it. Kahit isang pasada lang o dalawa. And then, sulat mo na. So yun lang yung technique, how to digest case. There's no substitute to writing and reading. Well, the reason bakit na-advise ko to yung easy way how to digest the cases. If you notice, annotated books ninyo, if you notice ang ikli ng mga statements na nandun, the book of the late Edgardo Parras is notorious when it comes to small case digest. Like facts, A bought from B, a minor, a house and lot. Is the contract valid? The contract is voidable because the other party is a minor. Well, do you remember the case of Tiam versus Sibong Hanoy? Tiam versus Sibong Hanoy is a case actually for jurisdiction. The general rule, alam naman nating lahat, is the question of jurisdiction may be raised even for the first time in appeal. But Tiam versus Sibong Hanoy operates as an exemption to the general rule that they can no longer question jurisdiction because they are stopped from doing so. They have actively participated in the proceedings in the lower court and pinatagal nila ng pinatagal. That case lasted for more or less 30 years. So, they can no longer question the jurisdiction of the court who rendered the assailed decision. That's an example of a case digest already. Whenever you are citing a case on your discussions, it's already a case digest. Let's say, Chuacor versus Clave. It was a case of a teacher and the student. The teacher was dismissed from service because pinakasalan niya yung student niya. She was 30 years old back then, and yung student niya was 16 years old. The court held that the dismissal was invalid because it was not immoral. And besides, ito yung isa sa mga pinaka-cited na jurisprudence when it comes to love, because it is the case where the court held that the heart has reasons of its own which reason does not know. That's it. Those are just examples of some of my favorite cases. Of course, Cayetano versus Monzon, where the court laid down the definition of practice of law in the Philippines. We also have the much celebrated case of Atchong or ignorantia facti, which is ignorance of fact is an excuse. Also, I love the case of Palalang versus Williams, particularly the part where it defined social justice as neither communism, despotism, atomism, nor anarchy, but the humanization of laws and the equalization of the social and economic forces by the state, so that social justice in its rational and objectively secular conception may at least be approximated. That's it. If you would read the entire case and digest it on your own, it would be easier for you to remember it. Yun yung tandaan nyo. And one more takeaway is, kapag nagbabasa ka ng full text, you're used to reading full text, masasanay ka na magbasa ng mga words and sentences ng Supreme Court, how they make their words, how they construct their words. So, in the end, you would end up using a lot of commas sa inyong sentence. would be verbose, but it would be beautiful. So that's it. Thank you very much again sa panonood. Oy, guys, paki-subscribe naman yung channel ko. And share it to your friends na mga nag-struggle kung paano mag-case digest. And I hope I was able to help you out. So again, thank you very much sa panonood and mabuhay po kayong lahat. Take care. Quarantine pa rin tayo ngayon.